Good morning from St. Anton in the Austrian Alps. Nelly and I have just finished a professional travel videography assignment, and now it's time for the real work, some post-processing. So I wanted to make this video to share with you how I go about the video editing process for clients with Adobe Premiere Pro. Let's go. So this channel is all about travel, videography, and business. And a lot of the videos in the last few weeks have been really focused on the travel side of things and the business side of things, which I love being able to share with you. It's really important for me to emphasize our nomadic lifestyle and the fact that we don't have a home or an office and that we're constantly traveling, as well as how I sustain my small business during those times. And I think this is really an opportunity with YouTube to share that experience with the audience here, with you guys, the viewers, and to learn from one another. You know, there's a lot that I can learn from you who are watching about your life experiences and how you think we can better our business or our lifestyle, whatever. Part of this channel as well, though, is the videography side of everything. There's a lot of travel channels out there that are focused on photography as well, and I think that a big part of this channel is based on landscape photography and the work that I do with Brennan and with Thomas Heaton and other photographers out there that I watch as well. But I want to try and differentiate this channel to be a little bit more about the videography side of things, because my small business is about making short travel videos for brands and for destinations to help market their product or service. So there's a lot that goes into making those videos and a lot that goes into making these YouTube vlogs and the behind the scenes stuff. So this opportunity is to bring you into the computer, just like Zoolander. It's in the computer, the Premiere Pro editing software, and show you my process of how I go about the video editing, and yeah, share that all with you now. So that's sort of my train of thought there. And the videography side is really important. If you're looking to make videos yourself, then I think you can learn a lot from how I go about editing, as well as just getting out there in the field, making the videos, bringing them into your software, whether it be Final Cut or Adobe Elements or Premiere Pro or even iMovie, to try and cut something for yourself, which you can then be proud of and put up on YouTube and start, you know, growing your own channel and your own sort of audience. Okay, so let's jump into Premiere Pro here. This is the project that I've already started, which is the Mein Almhof Promo Draft 1. Now, how I go about my edits is the same for a client video as it is for a vlog, and I do it in 3 sections. And the first section is importing all of the footage that I've got as part of the storyline into the project so that I can timeline it accordingly. So how I do that is I've got a Lacy hard drive here, and I store everything under my videos. Austria, Mein Almhof, which is the hotel. Then I've got the shoots day 1, day 2, day 3, additional drone footage and iPhone from Hannes, who's the brother of the owner, and some of the vlog photos from the last video. So essentially every day is storylined in a way that makes sense when I go into the editing booth, so that I can kind of streamline the timeline, which makes it then easier to edit a cohesive video. So I've actually already storylined the first half of the video, and as you can see here, we're already at about 24 minutes here, which is quite long. I think it's probably, by the end, it's going to be something like maybe 50 minutes of footage that I'm going to compress into 90 seconds, which is absolutely hilarious. But it's important to have a really sort of diverse storyline and a nice selection of footage on your timeline to make it easier to cut out the slack and keep the really, really good stuff when you get into that second stage, which is the editing stage. So for the initial stage of setting up the timeline, I'm essentially going to go into the second half of our video edit here into the shots that I took on day 3 to fill in those last gaps and really complete the rest of this timeline. So that's probably going to take a little while, which means I've got to speed up this video in the screen grab here in Premiere Pro just to you know, make it so it doesn't last forever, because really this stuff takes quite a while. It takes me like at least 4 or 5 hours to edit a 90-second video. So I think I'll try and create the rest of this timeline in sort of a time-lapse format, and then we'll jump into the second stage of the video edit. So the first stage is now complete. I have finished the timeline and I've got a nice cohesive story. It turns out that it's only about, I think, 40 minutes of footage. Yeah, 40 minutes and 23 seconds of footage, which I'm going to compress into 90 seconds. So stay tuned, that'll be a lot of fun. That is the second stage of my editing process. So now that I have a cohesive timeline that I'm happy with and it tells a nice story from start to finish, I then go into the second stage, which is picking the music and putting the music into the timeline and beginning to cut to the beat or to the track. So for music licensing, I use two websites. One is artlist.io and the other one is Soundstripe, which is an online music platform similar to Epidemic Sound, which I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard of. So we're going to source Soundstripe for this one. So Soundstripe is a service I pay, I think it's $150 a year for, and I use a lot of their music for this channel and for my client work, so happy to pay that amount because I'm getting a lot out of it with the amount of videos that I produce. This is their recently added playlist, and I took a bit of time earlier today to go through this to try and listen to a few different tracks of what might work for this video and for this client, and I found one here by an artist named Shane Becker. So what I'm going to do, it's called I'm So Lost, the first one that he has most recently uploaded. So I'm gonna go to license that, and then with Soundstripe, it's important that you have single-use synchronization for the exact project that you're using the song for. So the project title is Mein Almhof Promo Video. That's my project for these guys. So I write that in the title, and then I will say that is for advertising or corporate, and then go ahead and submit that. And then I'm able to download the primary track. So I will download that into my hard drive under music, under Soundstripe, and call it boom, Mein Almhof Promo Video, save. So that downloads. I can then go back to my project and import that song. Go to my music, Soundstripe, and then it should be under I'm So Lost, Mein Almhof Promo. Import that into my project, and boom, there's my music. Now, a good trick for music, when you want to start a track that isn't actually at the beginning of the track, you can use your keyframes to sort of blend in the sound into the video at the very beginning of the video, which creates a really nice sort of introduction into your video. So it doesn't actually even matter where this track starts, because I can override it and start it from nothing and then sort of blend it into one of the main beats. So what I'll do is listen for where I want to sort of start my first cut and blend in from this first drone shot with the logo of the hotel to start my video. So that's sort of a good place to find that first cut. So I'll actually drag this keyframe down to make it a lot less audible to start my video from a nice blend of music. So listen to this. Much, much better. Boom. Okay, that sounds great. So now that I have my 90 seconds, look at how small that is in comparison to the 40 minutes of footage that I actually have on the timeline. So the idea is to really start chopping this up and even deleting a lot of the scenes that are repetitive or they're not as good, so that you really compress the best of what you've shot in that nice comprehensive timeline to the best 90 seconds to have that like overall draft as good as it can be for the client to look at for their very first time seeing the video. So what I'm gonna do right now is just jump into this and time lapse it again and just try and get like a really quick version of this cutting done. It's gonna be pretty hectic and really fast, but I will give you a good idea of how I can compress 43 minutes into 90 seconds. So let's start that right now. at this point, stage 2 is complete. I have rendered out the whole 90 seconds, and we've just got it on one timeline. It's just a straight spread across, and now I can go into the third stage. So my third stage of editing is sort of like the finishing. It's putting on the little touches, putting in sound design, putting in small keyframe effects, putting in any logos, putting in any transitions, everything that you would do to sort of polish your final piece of work. So we've got the package of the video and its sort of rough cut form, and now it's time to put a bit more love into it, a little bit of that finishing touch. So what I'm gonna do is jump into Premiere Pro and start adding some of those effects right now, and then hopefully once it's rendered out, we'll have a really nice version of Draft 1 to share with you here in this video, as well as with the client, and yeah, get their feedback on it. So let's start that right now. And if you can believe it, the time has come. The exporting is happening right now, and that is it for this 90-second first draft for the client where we were shooting on location just last week. I'm very happy to have been able to share with you the process that I have going into video editing, especially for clients, but also the same mentality and process goes into the vlogs that I create twice a week here on YouTube for the channel. And that is sort of organizing your footage while on location, while shooting onto a hard drive. I usually do it by day. Sometimes I do it by camera as well, depending on the shoot. And then import all that footage into my project and organize it on a timeline that's streamlined to the story that I'm looking to produce, again, either for the client or for the vlog. Once that timeline is set in the story that I want, it's usually between like 35 minutes and an hour of footage, maybe a little bit longer. I then find the music that I'm looking to pair with the timeline and the story, and then I start cutting. And I cut using keyboard shortcuts, and I'm relatively fast at it, but honestly, everybody does this in their own way. They find their own flow to video editing, and I think practice makes perfect. Over time, you're going to get good at it, and the trick is to sort of get into your flow and find that editing pace that works for you. And before you know it, you're going to be editing an hour's worth of footage into like 4 minutes really quickly, within like 2 or 3 hours, even faster for some people. So that's the second stage for me, is cutting to the beat and to the music. And then once I've got like a pretty nice compact story, and it's somewhere, you know, with my vlogs between 8 and 10 minutes. With client videos, this one was only 90 seconds. Sometimes they're a little bit longer. But once I've got that sort of core edit, I then go into stage 3 of my process, which is the finishing stage. And for me as a video editor, that tends to be sound design, small effects, stabilization, keyframes, all of the stuff that I was talking about just in the last segment of this vlog. So that's really important as well, and it usually takes me quite a long time to process the finishing, especially if I'm really doing it to a perfectionist level. It depends again on how much time you have, when the draft is due, when the vlog upload is due, and then, you know, I try and just sort of polish it and make it look really, really nice. Then we go into the exporting stage. So depending on whether it's HD 1080, 1920 by 1080, or if it's 4K, I export in different versions depending on that. Once the export is on my laptop, I will then upload to YouTube or to Google Drive to send to the client. So that is the process from start to begin, from start to end. So I hope you've enjoyed that. If you've got any questions or comments about my editing process, please throw them down in the comment section below. As always, thank you so much for watching the video. I know this is a little bit different, but it's an opportunity to share with you something that I do quite often and should be given more light on the channel, I think. And for those of you who are creating videos, hopefully you see this as really interesting and can kind of put some of these stages and effects to use in your own videos. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope you like this, and stay tuned for the next one, because Nelly and I are going to collaborate with another YouTube creator, which I'm really excited to share on the channel because I think you know who they are, and looking forward to that. That's coming up on the next video. So yeah, stay tuned for that, and we'll definitely see you there. Bye.